Hey guys, on today's episode of Stop Blaming the Leads, we're going to talk about why you or your sales team aren't closing in the home more during generator consultations. We're seeing average close rates drop, and I want to help people increase them, and I want to see more of those sales at the kitchen table. So we've got two choices. Either we keep doing things the same way we've done them for the past 10 to 15 years, or we try a new style. We try to make some changes. We try to get back to the position where we're cashing checks, we're selling generators, and we're driving revenue. And the best way to make that shift is to put a better process into place and to stop blaming the leads.
Stop blaming the leads! You're scared of the mirror!
Welcome back to Stop Blaming the Leads. If you guys don't know me, I am Chris Stilwell, the founder and CEO of TSSG. This system sells generators. And just about me a little bit, I was a top sales rep, top sales manager in the generator industry. And after achieving a good amount of success in winning the Generac Compass Award, I left that role to start TSSG. I thought that this community was underserved. I thought that people who were electricians, generator dealers, people who were putting in these items did not have the proper resources. So I set out to create this company to help people just like you guys who are listening today. One of the things that I hear all the time, one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is looking at it like every appointment is different. Every house is different. Every customer is different. Every situation is different. There's no way to have consistency. Chris, we just can't do it. That's crazy. I'll tell you, I've found the exact opposite. I've found that the inconsistency is actually not coming from the customer or from the house or from the situation. It's coming from what's happening on our side of the process. It's coming from a lack of sales process. Most teams don't have a plan put in place. They're not prepared. They're figuring out most things in real time. So let's start there, right? The first thing that it comes down to is you're probably showing up unprepared. Now, if you think every appointment is different, it's probably because you're not prepared for it. And I know that every house is different slightly, and I know that every customer interaction is different, and we don't know if they want to start inside or if they want to start outside, or we don't know if it's going to be the mother-in-law, if it's going to be the decision maker, and we don't know, what type of house it's going to be or how the electrical setup's going to be or any of that stuff. I get it. But there's a lot of things in life that you don't know. But if you have a good enough process, you can be prepared for it. So let's start about showing up prepared. What are the mistakes people make to not be prepared? Here's some mistakes you might be making today and reasons you might not be prepared. First thing, if you're not reviewing the lead before you're arriving, if you're just walking into that customer's house blind, you're not prepared. If you're not Googling or, looking up that property or that neighborhood or looking it up on Zillow or any of that stuff, you're not prepared going into that house. And if you don't have the answers to the customer's question, if you haven't heard their phone call, if you don't know why they reached out, you are not prepared. So let me help you guys have some ways to show up more prepared. First thing is, every single house that you see, the good part about home services, we have these people's addresses. You can look it up. There's public records. Google that thing. Look at Google Maps. See what the yard looks like. See what the house looks like. Look it up on Zillow. See if they've sold it in the last couple of years. See if there's pictures of it available. Know that house before you walk in. With TSSG, we use a term. We say, don't walk in blind. Make sure that when you walk into that house, you have an idea of what you're looking into. Try to know more about that property, more about that neighborhood. And the other thing, too, is look up why that customer set that appointment with you. Do yourself a favor and see, hey, which questions was this person asked over the phone? If you guys use an FSM like Zuper, like we do, you can track those questions. You can put the answers in, and the salespeople will see them on their calendar. Even if you're doing an old school process and you're just dropping things right on somebody's Google Calendar, put a note in there, right? Here's the reason why they called. Here's what they're looking for. Any questions that you're taking time to ask somebody over the phone, if you're asking those questions, you should be recording those questions. And anytime you're recording those questions, you should be showing those to the sales specialist before they arrive. So if you're a specialist and you're out there selling, or you're in control of your sales process, make sure that there's a communication between the person who's taking the phone calls and the person who's making the sale. It's kind of like a nurse and a doctor. You know, one of them walks in, asks you a couple questions first, gets a little more information, gives it over to the doctor. Now, next thing you know, the doctor walks in and can ask more specifics. That's what we're looking to be. We're looking to show a process and to be more specific. The other thing about being prepared when you show up is showing up with the proper tools to do the job. I know you're a salesperson. I know that we're not actually technicians. Most of us, we're not technicians. We're not installers. But you still have to have the tools with you to be able to plan correctly. So I'm going to give you guys a list of tools that every basic generator salesperson should have. If you're running an organization, have this as the toolkit that you give out to every single one of your salespeople. Number one, have your tape measure. Make sure you got a tape measure. Make sure that it's on your hip and make sure that it's accurate and it looks professional. It's important to have that showing when you show up to somebody's job that you're there to work that day. You're not there to sell. Second thing, have a measuring wheel. Do not walk distances off at customers' houses. If you want somebody to buy a $15,000 or $20,000 generator from you, you better not use your size 11 shoe to try to see how far down the driveway it's going to be that we have to do the piping to get to the gas meter. It doesn't work. Bring your wheel with you. Look like a professional. The other thing is bring flags or planning tools. If you're going to show somebody where a generator is going to go, don't just point at a spot on the ground. Put some flags down. Put down a tool. Put something visual down so that the customer can see what that layout is going to look like. This is going to be their house. If people are telling you they need more time to think about it, it's probably because they don't have an idea of where the generator is going to go or what it's going to look like. Another tool that you have to show up with, and this is absolutely a tool for a salesperson, is your notebook. You need to have a notebook with you to be able to write down the answers to customers' questions. If you plan on asking customers questions, plan on writing down the answers. It's unfair to people to just ask them questions and stare at them and hope they're going to open up to you and tell you what you need to know. But if you bring a notebook with you and you're recording those answers, you can do a better job at keeping up with the conversation while listening for the things that you're looking for and taking the notes that are important at that time. Also, bring a sales booklet. Bring a booklet like we offer at TSSG. We got a 16-page sales booklet that all of our customers use. Bring a sales folder. Bring something in with you. Make sure you have a leave behind. Make sure you have something tangible that a customer can see that you're ready for this appointment. And also, you're there to do potentially a construction project. Have the right tools with you that you need that day. If you have to open electrical panels, make sure you have a screwdriver with you. If you have to do anything like that, make sure that you have a wrench, make sure that you have a flashlight, make sure that you have a multi-tool. Be ready to go, be prepared. These are non-negotiables. You should be reviewing every appointment before you get there. You should be checking out what the house looks like. You should be listening to the phone calls, if not at least looking at the answers that your team gathered. And you should be showing up looking like a professional, having your tools ready. This is what's going to make you separate yourself from the rest of the competition. This is why somebody would want to buy a generator with you as compared to somebody else. This is why somebody would say yes that day at the kitchen table, is because you're prepared. Now, another big reason why people aren't closing on site, why salespeople aren't getting a yes same day, is because you don't have a plan. I mean, this one should be obvious, right? I mean, how many situations in life are you walking into without a definitive plan, hoping that you come out on top? So here's the big mistakes that you're making if you don't have a plan every time you're walking into a sale. First time, this is the biggest thing. If you're walking in without a defined structure, without a phase structure, without steps, without, what they call in football, the first 15, if you're walking in without that structure, a customer's going to see that, they're going to feel that, and it's automatically going to lose respect for you. The other mistake is letting the homeowner dictate or control the conversation from the start. People will ask them, like I've seen people say to the homeowners, like, so where would you guys like to get started? Or could you show me where we'd like to get started? The customer doesn't know where to get started. I don't know where to tell the surgeon where to start. I don't even know where to tell them to start to cook my pizza. Not to mention anything else. I let the professional take care of it. I let the person who's good at it do it. And if I'm the professional and I'm showing up to somebody's home, the last thing I should be doing is asking them where we should start. And the other big mistake I see people make so much is jumping straight into product talk or straight into planning. Hey, where's your panel? Oh, where's your gas meter? Let me get some measurements. That's the first thing we're doing? Jumping right in, that's not a plan. That's not how you should start a sale. So let me tell you guys some easy ways to fix this if something you're doing now or something that your sales team is doing now, because these are reasons why you're not closing at the kitchen table today. So first thing is you have to develop that first 15. You have to develop that structure. At TSSG, we use clear phases to every sales call. First thing that we do is phase number 1. We get into the house and we sit down and anchor at the table. We get to the kitchen table for somewhere between like 5, 7, maybe 10 minutes. And we go through a couple of questions with the customer. I take my notebook out. I ask them a series of calibrated questions, and I make sure to understand more about their situation so that I can better help them. Also, it makes the process go quicker. Then I explain to them more about what we're going to do that day. And then we get up and we go to phase number 2, which we call making a plan, right? That's where we're going to look at their electrical panel. We're going to size the generator for them. Then we're going to go check out their meter. We're going to figure out, the electrical run. Then we're going to go figure out the gas. Then we're going to figure out placement. Then we're going to take some pictures. Then we're going to put all this together and we're going to have a plan for that customer. We're going to be able to create a proposal. I'll be able to create a quote and be able to show them what that price is right there on site. And before I show them that price, I want to sit back down with them and go into phase 3. Phase 3 is called the recap, the rehash. This is where we sit down with that customer and we recap everything that we went through with them. We rehash everything that we talked about today. We show them the payment options. We talk about pricing and we give them a clear path to move forward that day. That's what people are looking for. If people aren't buying with you today, it's because you don't have a process like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that exact process, but a process like that every time, repeatable over and over again, is how you will find success at the kitchen table. The thing about that process that you got to understand is that I'm also setting expectations that entire time with the customer. Before I arrive at that customer's house, I let them know I'm going to need 45 minutes to an hour of their time. When I show up, I ask them if we can sit down at the kitchen table to talk for 5 to 10 minutes to find out more about their situation. Once I have that list built, I say to them, okay, now great, let's get up. Let's go look at your electrical panel. Let's go look at your gas meter. Let's find a placement for the generator. And then when we finish all that, I tell them, okay, great, let's go back inside. Let's sit back down. I'm going to go through everything we talked about today. And I'm going to give you guys a look at what this proposal looks like, what an install timeline looks like, and ultimately what payments would look like for you. I set expectations with that customer through every part of the process. And guiding them through that process, being that guide, is what will make these people want to shop with you. These people want to buy from someone that we trust. We know that. If you guys have been to a TSSG seminar, you hear me talk about this all the time. Our customers want to buy from people they trust. And if you're guiding them through this process, not selling to them, they're going to want to buy from you. So being more prepared is going to help you, absolutely. But having a plan in place is really going to get you to the position where the customer starts to respect you and they start to see that you have a process. Now, I'm sure you guys are thinking to yourselves, well, Chris, I'm going to sit down at the table with this customer 5 to 10 minutes. What am I going to tell him? I've got to tell him a bunch of stuff, right? What do I tell him? Look, don't tell them anything, because the third biggest problem I see people making is you're talking way too much.
Stop blaming the leads! You're scared of the mirror!
Stop Blaming the Leads is brought to you by TSSG. That's right, this system sells generators. Folks, we are the #1 sales training company in the generator industry. It's taken me 3 years to do it, but we have worked with more than 150 different businesses all over the country. And if you're a generator company and you're listening to this right now and you're not doing coaching with us, then I don't know what you're waiting for. Go to tssgcoaching.com and get tickets to our upcoming seminar in Charlotte, North Carolina. People are flying in from all over the country. We've got about 25 tickets left. NetGain's going to be there. Precast Pad's going to be there. Zuper's going to be there. Michael Murphy from Premier Generators in Texas is going to be speaking. And you guys will get a full day with me learning our entire 10-step sales system and learning more about how to sell at the in-home consultation. So if you like what you hear on the podcast, if you like what you understood about TSSG so far, please follow us on social media, check out our website, buy tickets to FTL in Charlotte, and put a little bit of wind in the sails of this pirate ship. Now, we'll get you back to Stop Blaming the Leads.
Stop blaming the leads. You're scared of the mirror.
This is almost, everybody I run into in sales. I know I make this mistake all the time. I talk way too much. This is one of the biggest issues I see. Over-explaining everything. Just the sales guys going on and on and on. The other big mistake that salespeople are making is they're talking too much about themselves. Telling too many personal stories, looking for too much common ground. Also using too many other examples of other customers. These are mistakes. I know you might have been to sales classes in the 80s or 90s that said, find common ground with people, make friends with them. Yes, that might have worked then, but people are smarter than the average bear now. They've been through that. They're not looking for a fast friend in sales. They're looking for someone to help them solve their problem. So when you're sitting down at the table, don't talk too much. Actually, in the whole sales call, try not to talk too much. What we want to do is use the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, we're listening. 20% of the time, we're asking questions. 0% of the time, we're making statements. This sales call should be about them. We should be asking questions and we should be listening for those answers. So the first way to fix this, the best way to fix this is stop saying anything. Start asking questions. Ask more questions. Have a list of questions. At TSSG, we have developed a list of between 6 and 8 questions that you should ask every single customer once you sit down at the kitchen table with them. And those questions have questions inside of them. Ultimately, throughout our sales process, I've found that the best way to have success is to ask more than 30 questions in a sales process. If you have more than 30 questions set up for the customer, this can range from anything from, why you guys wanted to buy the generator today, what are your biggest concerns when the power goes out? Do you have an emergency plan in place today? Are you guys interested in upgrades and warranties? Is cold weather something that scares you before the generator might start? Are you guys planning on getting quotes from anyone else? All these various questions are part of our process. And we make sure to ask these customers these questions instead of telling them these things as statements. There's only certain things that you have to explain to customers too. And I try to kind of relate this back to the auto industry. Think about buying a truck. Did they go into where the, tires were made? When you bought your truck, did they tell you, why they put that specific undercoating on there? Did they tell you, what town and county the truck was put together in? Did they tell you every single thing you needed to know to maintain the truck? Every single thing that the warranty included? Probably not. Because you're probably already ready to buy the truck. Like this customer's already ready to buy the generator. The more you talk, the more chance you have of talking yourself out of the sale. I know the features and benefits are cool, but these people aren't looking for features and benefits. They're looking for help. And finally, please don't take this personally, guys, but just stop talking about yourself. People aren't interested. I know. I keep my intros pretty short because I know people tune out. They don't care. So I know you want to tell relatable stories about yourself. Maybe you drive a Chevy too. Maybe you're also a Red Sox fan. Maybe you also went on tour with the Grateful Dead when you were younger and you have common ground with that person. Please stop bringing yourself up. Just make it about them. I'm telling you, if you make your sales call 100% about that customer and you're listening more than you're talking, you're going to start cashing more checks. You're going to start seeing more yeses. Here's the easiest way to apply this today. Instead of telling a customer, hey, we've got an extended 7-year warranty available right now if you buy before the middle of April or the middle of May or whatever the hell the promotion is. Instead of telling them that, how about you ask them a question? Hey, how do you guys feel about long-term coverage on the generator? Is that something that's important to you? Let them answer. Let them tell you how important long-term coverage is to them and how they wouldn't buy from a brand that wasn't willing to cover their product long-term. And how the only way that they're going to buy this machine today is if the company that sells it is going to back it up for at least the next 7 to 10 years. Wow. Wouldn't it be great to say, well, then would it make you guys happy to hear that I actually have a 7-year warranty available if you guys are looking to move forward sometime soon? Wow. Now everything they told you just came true. There you go, because you asked a question. You let them open up as compared to giving a statement. And I'm telling you, Every other part of your process can be changed to asking questions to customers to get them to open up to you and tell you what they're looking for, what their thoughts are, what's important to them. And then you can lay out why that feature, why that benefit, why that feedback works best for them. Making the sales call about them, not about you.
Stop blaming the leads. You're scared of the mirror.
Today's episode of Stop Blaming the Leads is brought to you by NetGain. NetGain is a fantastic business that we work with. These guys work with the PAL system. And what it does is it basically tracks outages throughout the entire country. They look at outage maps, they look at data, they look at history. And basically what they're able to do is they're able to change the way that your company is marketed based upon the storms in the area. So if you're in a generator business and you're looking to get more leads, especially capitalizing on storm times, then talk to NetGain. Click the link in our bio, go to their website, check these guys out. Drew and the team over there are the best. They've been to the Generac National Conference. They've got dozens of generator customers. They're producing hundreds of leads for people. They'll be in Charlotte. They're always a great sponsor of TSSG. Check out NetGain and get yourself more leads and get yourself more sales. Now back to Stop Blaming the Leads.
Stop blaming the leads. You're scared of
The fourth and fifth biggest mistake that people make to prevent themselves from closing in-home consultations in person kind of go together. They're kind of 4.1, 4.2. We'll call them 4 and 5. Everything you're doing right now is verbal, and that is a mistake. Now, I know this is coming from a guy who's recording a podcast, but we also put video along with it. And if you ever notice, most of the videos that you see on Reels or on Facebook or stories, those also have captions along with them. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys, especially the older folks, are, watching Netflix like I am with the captions on, right? And it's because not everyone absorbs everything verbally. More than 50% of people say that they don't absorb things verbally. So you guys are selling to customers and more than 50% of them are telling you, hey, you're telling me stuff and I'm not necessarily remembering it. That's got to be a mistake. So the big mistake here is not having a visual presentation or packet ready with you all the time. And if you don't have this today, it's definitely hurting you. Even if you guys, let's say even you're crushing it today, you're closing 55, 60% even, you're still missing out on other sales if you do not have a visual packet or presentation. Because you're probably also just giving prices verbally. And if you're just telling somebody numbers and just showing them a price, just saying to them, hey, here's just the price. You're not showing it to them. You're just telling it to them. It's very hard for that person to understand it. And I don't just mean the big price itself. Yes, I understand $14,759. But it's really hard to understand how the payment options also work into that price. And the biggest problem with this is that you guys are just expecting customers to remember everything. And a customer doesn't remember everything. I know that we do sales every day. Some of us do 3, 4 of them in a day. So it's inside baseball for us. We remember this stuff. It makes sense. It's our job. But this customer's probably under a lot of pressure. They're probably only getting, 1 or 2 generator quotes in their entire life. This is an overwhelming process to them. So if everything you're just saying is verbal, and say they maybe have something else going on, we've all been to these calls, the kids are there, there's a phone call that comes up in between, the neighbor comes over and asks what's going on. Maybe the mail guy comes halfway through, they get a text message. All of a sudden, just because I'm talking verbally doesn't mean I can pick up or they can pick up where we left off, and they can miss out on some very important information. So here's the best way to fix this. Create a visual packet. And I don't just mean on a tablet. Yeah, a tablet's cool if you're presenting to somebody who's younger, but older folks, they have a lot of trouble seeing those tablets. And they have a lot of trouble understanding what's going on. So have a visual packet. At TSSG, we recommend our 16-page packet that we've put together for customers. And basically what this does is this walks you through a sale. It's called Purchasing a Standby Generator and Power Outage Safety Packet. And basically what we do is we take every single one of our customers through the same process every time. Remember, I told you guys, every process can be the same every time if your process is good enough. First thing we do is tell them more about us. Then we tell them more about the process. We tell them we're doing our in-home consultation now. Next, I'm going to show you the payment options. Then we could possibly talk about doing your installation and maintenance later on. I tell them more about a generator. I show them how a generator works. I tell them more about the product lines that we offer in our place. And then finally, I have an entire page here where I can have some blank spots where I write down the various different payment options, the total cost, and the type of generator that they're getting. This is all tangible. This is all physical. This is something people can have and hold right in front of them. And I'm able to show this to every single customer every time. I'm able to paint a picture to people in person that shows them I was prepared for this appointment when I showed up today. We do this all the time, and we make this process easy. Our install is going to go just as well as this sales process has gone. And this allows you to be able to show them pricing. This allows you to be able to show them upgrade offers. This allows you to be able to show them all different types of stuff clearly in person, and you're not just saying it. Think about it. We deal with elderly customers a lot, guys. They don't hear well. If they didn't hear you, they're not going to buy from you. But if you show them and you tell them and you do it the same way every time in a slow, easy, repeatable process, then they're going to understand, and they're probably going to have a much better chance at saying yes. The important thing here is that this lets you walk them through this process step by step so that they're not confused, so that they know what's coming up next, and it gives them a much better chance to say yes. Also think about it like this. If I walk somebody through this packet and I leave them with this packet and they tell me I've got to talk to my spouse, or I need to show this to my business partner, or I've got to show this to the HOA, or anything like that. They're even if their neighbors want one, anything like that, they're not just freeballing it and saying whatever comes up in their mind. They're actually going to take this packet. They're going to go through step by step. They're going to show them the process that you showed that customer. And now you have somebody who's ready to buy. So if you just tell them something, it's probably going to disappear. But if you show them something, they're going to hold on to it. They're going to see value, and it's going to stick. And the best sales processes are sticky with customers. Now, this leads me into the fifth thing, which is kind of still the fourth thing, which is showing people the payment options on every single call. I know that there are still plenty of vendors out there, plenty of dealers out there who feel like they don't need to show payment options to every customer on every call. And what I want to just kind of give you guys is just a different perspective and a different way to look at this. I grew up with a single mom, right? We didn't have a lot of money. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, my brother, my sister, my mom, and we did the best that we could. And my mom would put a lot of stuff on credit, and she would put a lot of stuff on payments. And the older that I got, the more I found out how many different things that we had on layaway and how many different things we had on payments, but we always were able to have stuff because my mom figured out a way to do it. So what I want you to think about is think about that single mom out there today. Think about that person who calls you out to your home and they say, hey, I'm looking for backup power. It's important for me to keep my family safe. And you don't show them a payment option. All I'm going to say is, how dare you? Do yourself a favor. Do that person a favor. Don't assume you know anyone else's financial situation. I know a lot of us are salespeople and a lot of us are in the generator world, and we're doing really well. But the customers that we're selling to today don't necessarily have $15,000 to $20,000 worth of disposable income sitting underneath their bed right now. But it doesn't mean that they don't need or want a home standby generator. So if you want to help people out more and you want to stop preventing people from buying these units, have your payment options ready to go. This should be a non-negotiable. You should be in the position right now where you're thinking to yourself, Chris, how can I show people more payment options? What payment options can I go with? I'm going to tell you guys right now. There are 4 payment options that you should show every single one of your customers. And if you're selling generators today, I'm going to tell you guys exactly which ones to go with. The first thing that you should do is offer them the 9.99 for 132 months. Why? Well, this is going to be the lowest monthly payment that makes sense for you. Now, when I say offer payment options with Generac, what I mean here is to be offering the Synchrony payment options. Use the lowest one possible. The 9.99 for 132, that's our baseline. If somebody's paying $15,000 for a generator, they're going to be getting a payment that's under $200 a month right there. It's very reasonable to start under $200 a month with 0 down today. And if they put 50% down, they'll be under $100 a month. So if you have somebody who's got a $15,000 unit and they tell you guys, hey, I was really looking for something more around $7,500, you have them put that $7,500 down today. They're making a $100 monthly payment for the next 10 years. This thing's paid off. They're good to go. It's a fantastic deal. If they want a lower interest rate, we got the 7.99 we offer for 88 months. That's going to get a payment up to somewhere around like $260, $280 on a $15,000 unit. And that's for only 7 years. They get that thing paid off with zero down. Then we offer the 5.99 for 37 months. Now that's 3 years at 5.99%. That's cheaper than a car loan right now. If you're talking a $15,000 unit, you put zero down, that whole thing will be paid off with like $440 a month. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's taken care of. And I know everybody's offering this one. It's the number one. It's the easy go-to. Please don't pat yourself on the back if you guys are selling a lot of these. But the no interest, if paid in full till 18 months, is a no-brainer. You should be able to offer them these other options, show them what the interest rate could be, what the payments could be, and then lay it out that, hey, this is the best one. So if you want to pay zero interest, put no money down today, get this thing installed, and just make a small payment, about $1,000 a month, maybe even $900 a month for the next 18 months, this thing will be installed, done. You'll pay no interest, and you have backup power starting now. That's fantastic for a customer. All of those options that I just talked about, the 9.99, the 7.99, the 5.99, the no interest if paid in full in 18 months, are so feasible and easy for people to realize that this could fit into my budget. But when you tell somebody it's $15,000 cash today, either give me a check or get out, you're not giving them a lot of options. So if you are not leading with payment options, if you are not showing somebody exactly what it could cost them today if they were to use this incredible Synchrony financing, then you're losing deals and you're doing a disservice to the customer. You're probably hurting yourself and you're probably hurting the business. And I know it's not intentional. I know you're not in a position where you're like, hey, I want to restrict people from buying generators. But honestly, that's what's happening. Not everyone has the available funds, but people do need these things and they need them now. So I hope I've given you guys a couple of good takeaways today. I hope I've given you guys some good stuff that you've learned that can help you close more deals at the table. If you've liked this podcast, please like us, follow us, share us with a friend. That would be fantastic. Here's the 5 things that I want you guys to think about. Number 1, stop showing up unprepared, okay? Make sure that you have a plan, know more about the house, and have your toolkit ready. Number 2, plan out every single one of your sales calls. We have the 3 phases that we use with TSSG. If you want to learn more about this, come to Charlotte. We have tickets available. We'll be there June 3rd. We will teach you all 3 phases of the in-home consultation. You'll have a better plan every time you walk into someone's house. Next, stop talking so much. Talk less, smile more. You'll get better results. It works for everyone. It's a paradox, but the less that salespeople talk, the more that they sell. Also, stop just talking. Show people things verbally. Get a packet, get a folder, get some paperwork. Make sure that you have something physical that you can show to your customers so that they can see what you're saying. Remember, you're missing out on 50% of your customers if you don't have something visual to show them. And finally, show every single person that you run into payment options. These payment options are great. They're low, they're easy to apply for, and people will buy more generators. If you can follow all 5 of these steps, if you make these 5 changes, then you'll realize it's not the pricing, it's not the customers, it's your process. And what you'll do is you'll start taking more responsibility, make some big changes, and you'll stop blaming the leads.